What do you like most about being in the real estate now for 3 years?
I would say, I love showing people houses. I love going out with people and seeing new parts of the community I've never seen before. But the most satisfying thing is when you get to the closing day and someone's signing the last document and they realize that they're about to get the keys and move into their new house.
Right.
And it's like an amazing feeling for me and for them. This is everything they've wanted. It's their dream house, and I helped them along the way, and it's just a satisfying feeling.
It's a pretty big stage in life for people to and to help them get through that. It's pretty rewarding, and that's kind of like after the first few settlements when I got into real estate, it was like, I got into teaching to make a difference in the lives of people. When I realized that I could have that same intrinsic feeling in real estate and maybe a little bit more of a salary than maybe what a teacher makes, it was just like, man, a light bulb clicked. It is Tim here with the TMA Connection. That's right, it's a local podcast focusing on life, community, and a smidge of real estate every now and then. And today we got Dan the Man, Dan Weber from the TMA real estate team in here, just a kind of a get to know you type podcast. So sweet. Dan, welcome to the table.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, a little nervous maybe? He's cool as a cucumber.
We've done it before.
That's right, we have done it before. And if you haven't checked out that podcast, that was with Zach Hayes of Bayshore Mortgage Funding. Big shout out to Zach. Go back and check out that podcast. Before we even jump into the program here, please go to anywhere you find podcasts on Apple, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio. We're all over the place. We are all over the place. Jay Zorzi has hooked us up all over the internet. And go to one of those places, subscribe. You can also go to YouTube and you can subscribe and see the video portion of this. And we are trying to build a community and we're trying to build a brand. And again, your help with subscribing would be awesome. But without further ado, again, Dan Weber, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me again.
So one of the biggest things, again, the goal of this podcast is to just get everybody to know you a little bit. So give everyone a little bit of a background about who you are and where you come from.
So I graduated from Beller High School in 2017. After that, I went to Hartford Community College. I did a year at Towson and then went to Hartford Community College and graduated from there. And then we were just talking about it 3 years ago. I joined the team. And it's been great ever since, working with you, working with Ralph, working with the other agents that we had before. It's been a great time and good experience, and I've learned so much. So,
yeah, Dan, how old are you?
24.
24 years old and got into real estate 3 years ago, so you were 21. What prompted you to even think about getting into real estate?
Well, up until that point, I really had no experience or no clue what it took to buy a house, or I didn't know what a mortgage was. I didn't know how you acquired a mortgage. I didn't know how anyone could buy a house. A lot of people think maybe you need $300,000 cash or $250,000 cash to buy a house. And until I learned the things that it took to move out or to buy a house, I didn't know any of that. And that's what really prompted me. I just wanted to figure out, for myself at least, I guess it was a selfish motivation, how could I move out, or how could I acquire a house so that I can live on my own. And then that just turned into me basically wanting to help other people learn the same information and figure out the same things that I figured out, because it's really not, and it's definitely a tough, hard process, but it's not something that's unattainable for everyone. Right. So yeah, I guess just my motivation to learn more for myself turned into wanting to help other people.
Yeah, that's awesome. And, a big prop to you, and I know I've told other people this story in front of you because, and at the end I like to acknowledge you, but definitely right now I want to just say that, being an old teacher, having the opportunity to teach so many people when they see me on Facebook, Instagram, and what I'm doing now, and, you had got in contact with me, and as a lot of other students have in the past, and just said, hey, I'm thinking about getting into real estate. What do I need to do? That kind of thing. And so, you came in, we talked about it. And a lot of times that's the last I ever see them. That's the last, because it's a quite a big task to take the class, the 60-hour class, 60 hours plus, and then to go get your license and all that. So the fact that we sat down and like a month to a month and a half later after that conversation, I get a call from Dan and it's like, all right, what do I do now? I'm like, well, did you take the class? Yep, pass the class, pass the exam. Like, did it all,
Yeah.
And that's when I knew, like, I mean, not to inflate your ego or anything, but that's when I knew, like, we got somebody special here, like that. I mean, sharp as a tack, you're a sponge, and you really kind of absorb so much, and you've learned so much. So I just want to acknowledge you for that real quick. Thank because you. I mean, yeah, you're 24, but I think you're wiser beyond your younger years.
Thank you.
You're very smart, and you pick up. You're just a sponge, and you learn so much, and that's what real estate is. It's a lot of learning.
Yeah.
So
it's definitely good when you have a good teacher too. So.
Oh, you suck, sucking up, sucking up there. For anyone that would be, your age or whatever age, they're thinking about getting into real estate. You've been doing this now 3 years. What's the biggest piece of advice that you would give somebody if they were looking to get into the career of real estate? Yeah,
so I would say the biggest piece of advice is to just jump right in and just get started. The class online, I think it was like either a month free trial or a 2-week free trial that I just had no clue if I even was going to pursue it, but I signed up for the class online, and you can work at your own pace. And after the 2 weeks was up or the month was up, I was like, I mean, this is something I'm interested in.
Yeah.
And this is something I want to pursue. And you just have to jump right in and get started, because the more you talk about it, the more time you waste just, considering doing something, you're more likely to not act on it. So if you just have that idea and you think that's something that you're interested in, there's no reason not to sign up for a free trial or to figure out, at least get more information for yourself, because, I mean, you do learn a lot in the class. Maybe it's not all stuff that you use in the real estate world, but it's definitely things that will help you when you go to buy a house. And so even if after the 2 weeks you say, this is something I don't really want to do, at least you have all that information that you've learned for free. So...
Yeah, and if you go beyond that trial and I think it's like $200 or $300. I mean, it's like the barrier to entry is not a whole lot, and that's just the class. But I think somebody said like it's like $2,500 total expense to get into real estate, to be affiliated with associations and your MLS dues and all that, but. The barrier to entry is relatively low when you're starting a real estate business as compared to maybe starting a business in somewhere else.
The systems are already set up for you. Like we have this big office, we have this room to do these podcasts in, and we pay dues, but that's not something that we had to money out of our pocket that we had to build this building or something. The systems are already set up. So yeah, the barrier to entry is low, and I would say if you're interested, just get started. I mean,
just get started.
Yeah.
And that's, again, I think that's something that holds people back. Just the fear of failing or the fear of what could be, and they
don't act on it.
They don't act on it. So that's awesome. What do you like most about being in the real estate now for 3 years?
I would say, I love showing people houses. I love going out with people and seeing new parts of the community I've never seen before. But the most satisfying thing is when you get to the closing day and someone's signing the last document and they realize that they're about to get the keys and move into their new house.
Right.
And it's like an amazing feeling for me and for them. This is everything they've wanted. It's their dream house, and I helped them along the way, and it's just it's a satisfying feeling when
it's a pretty big stage in life for people to and to help them get through that. It's pretty rewarding, and that's kind of like after the first few settlements when I got into real estate, it was like, I got into teaching to make a difference in the lives of people. when I realized that I could have that same intrinsic feeling in real estate and maybe a little bit more of a salary than maybe what a teacher makes, you know, it was just like, man, a light bulb clicked.
Yeah.
You know?
I wouldn't say at first I wasn't thinking that it would be, like, I didn't even know how that would feel or if I would feel like I was making a difference in their lives. But, yeah, like you said, after the first settlement, you realize that you're helping change their life.
Yeah.
Or their life, yeah.
Yeah, and you know, a word of advice to you or whatever as a young agent, and I know you already have this mindset, is don't focus on the money. You know, don't focus on the money. Focus on the people. Focus on the process. Focus on the learning. You talked about learning. It's like focus on that education for yourself and think about how you're affecting other people. And in time, in the long term, the money will come. You know.
Yeah.
If you're just getting in for the money, I don't. You know.
Yeah.
It's. I don't think it's for you know, for you. I think the money will run out. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Being a real estate agent is certainly challenging too. So let's not lie to the folks.
Yeah.
What's been one of your greatest challenges in being in the real estate business?
It's challenging because, I mean, you're on call pretty much all the time. I mean, if someone wants to go look at a house at 6 o'clock on Saturday night,
yeah.
I mean, you can't tell. I mean, you can't tell them no. I have plans or something. You want to, like I said, you want to help them through the process, and you want to be the person that's guiding them through. So you have to be ready to help someone out pretty much at any time of the day. And I guess that's not really a challenge, but it's definitely a responsibility that you take on when you decide that you want to help someone out. So I guess it could be a little challenging, but I would say, yeah, that's pretty much the toughest thing, is just being available for people whenever they need you, so that you can help them out regardless of time of day or weekend, weekday, morning, night.
And certainly you being on our real estate team, what people maybe don't realize that haven't worked with us, but the people who have realized is that I'm not always available. You know, so you know, working with a team with experienced agents, it's like, if I'm not available to go out at 6 o'clock on a Saturday night, then you are, or Amy is, or Ralph is, or my dad is. It's like you got 4 other options besides myself that in a pinch we can get you out to see the house, and that's,
and you know they're going to do a good job too,
right? And because we're going to be looking at it from top to bottom, left to right, everything, just to, you know, try to ensure that you're getting a good quality house. But you, sir, I mean, you have created such a great leverage for me, that when I'm not available, we can be in 2 different places at one time. You know, and that's huge in this business. So awesome, that was a great answer. A couple more questions, and we're going to wrap this up. What's the last book that you read?
Last book I read?
Oh.
I'm not a huge reader.
Thank you for being honest.
I would say, I think I read a book almost 2 years ago. It's called Live Second.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's just about like living for other people besides yourself.
Awesome.
But that was probably 2 years ago. So
okay, I appreciate your honesty. I appreciate your honesty.
I'm not a huge reader,
and I would encourage you to read. Okay, and a podcast. Do you listen to any podcasts?
Like just any podcast, or
just
like
any podcast, real estate or otherwise? What's one podcast recommendation? We always like to bring recommendations to the show.
I like Pardon My Take.
Pardon My Take.
It's like a Barstool Sports podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I like that one. I used to watch this podcast. It was I don't know if you're familiar with Ben Mala.
I am not.
He's like a commercial real estate developer, but he has a big personality. I used to watch his podcast too, but I don't think they film it anymore.
Okay.
So I would say those 2 probably.
All right, check those out. All right. You're going into the big game. What is currently playing in your headphones when you're stepping out onto the field of battle? You're going to show that $1.5 million mansion in Glen Angus, and you need to sell it.
I don't know. Probably some heavy metal or something. To
okay. Heavy metal is your go-to?
Yeah.
All right. All right. Places to eat. Going out to dinner tonight. What's your go-to restaurant? Let's say in Bel Air, Harford County.
Bacco, the Italian place.
Bacco. I've heard so many people talk about Bacco. Mm-hmm. I've never been there.
It's a good place.
It's a good place. Is that down in Abingdon?
Yeah, it's near Wegmans.
What are they serving on the menu there? Is it like
Italian
food? Okay. I got to check this out.
Yeah,
You're like the second person this week that has mentioned Bacco.
Yeah, it's a good place. I like it.
Jay, I think we need to get some Bacco up in here. All right. If you're not doing real estate, if you're not working your other job, you want to just have a chill, relaxed day. What kind of hobbies are you going to be doing?
Maybe like fishing or
basketball
or something.
Okay.
Skateboarding.
See, I was See, that's how we connect, man. Because I used to be a skateboarder too.
Yeah.
And I hear you're maybe a little bit of a golfer as well.
Golf,
fishing.
Yeah.
Man.
Something outside.
To be 24 again. That's awesome. That's awesome. Where can people reach out to you if they're interested in buying a home, or if they're interested in going into real estate, or if they're just interested in football, golf, and fishing?
So my phone number is 443-619-2591, and I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Okay. What are those? Is it?
I can't remember. I think for my Instagram, it's dweb with 2 B's, 123.
Okay.
And then I think it's the same thing on Twitter.
Okay.
And then just my name, Daniel
Weber on Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, again, at the end here, I want to acknowledge you.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I think you're a very sharp, smart person.
Thank you.
You've been such a pleasure to work with. You have helped me so much, and I don't think I can adequately express to you how much you mean to me, to this team, and everything that you've done. I can't believe it's been 3 years.
Yeah, I know.
That just rocks my mind right now, that you've been doing this for 3 years, and you're good. You're good at it. You really are. You really are, and you're gonna continue to do great things in this business and whatever you choose to do in life. You're a sharp guy.
Thank you.
Last question. I always like to talk about making a difference, making a difference in the lives of others, and we always like to take the time at the end of every show to acknowledge one person in your life that has made a significant difference for you, and you can't answer me. Just kidding.
Well, after you, I would say definitely my dad.
Okay.
He just retired. He was a teacher for over 30 years, and also a coach, and he changed so many young men's lives and mine as well. So he's really showed me, like, just a role model for me, what a good man is and what a good father is and a good husband. So definitely my father, because he changed my life, my brother's life, and so many other young men's lives. So
Eric Weber, if you're listening to this, you big shout out to E-Webs. Eric Weber is a good guy. I coached with him. In fact, when I coached with him, God, you were probably just running around like a young guy, you know, around the track or whatever. But yes, your dad is a phenomenal man and certainly a great role model. So again, follow Dan on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can follow us at the Markland Advantage on Facebook and Instagram, and it's at TMA Real Estate on Twitter, Snapchat, and TikTok. Or you can go to our website, tma.penfedrealty.com, and of course, anywhere else on YouTube, subscribe. Anywhere you download podcasts, subscribe. Dan, thanks for stepping up to the mic today.
Thanks for having me.
I think you did a great job.
Sweet.
I think we're going to keep him for another year. All right?
Just one more.
Just one. This is a year by year. Just keep doing good things, and we'll keep you around for a while.
Sounds good.
All right, folks. Until next time, live your life to the fullest, and we'll see you soon. Take care.